Well, we made it. It's the end of the year. I already did my best songs of the year list if you want to go watch that. And right now, I'm about to do my top 20 albums of 2024. I'm not really one for preambles, I just kind of want to get into it. I will be kind of just blowing through the first half of the list for brevity's sake. So, without further ado, number 20, I have Charm by Claro, really great vintage pop record. Number 19, I have Great Doubt by Astrid Son, and I think this is a really good melding of her more experimental stuff with this new, a little bit more of an accessible sound that she's going with on this record. Number 18 is Grindmaster by Extra Welt. Some really fun, aggressive electronic music. I'd say if you're into the Challenger soundtrack, you should probably listen to that. Number 17 is going to be Onsen Music by Shoko Igarashi. Shoko Igarashi is making kind of electronic music that's inspired by, I'd say like a lot of 80s like new age type of music, and really trying to make like it's like that kind of music, but I would say it's definitely more of an active listening experience. It's a lot more fun. So, highly recommend. Number 16 is The Body's new record, The Crying Out of Things, which I think is maybe The Body's best album. And I would say it's a great entry point to the act if you've never heard them before. There's some really, it's really not for everybody. It's really aggressive, extreme metal adjacent, lots of screaming, lots of hellish, nightmarish soundscapes. Number 15 is going to be GNX by Kendrick Lamar. I don't know why people were calling that like a mixtape type of thing from him. It's obviously not. It's obviously a full-bodied Kendrick Lamar album. Number 14 is Shrapnel and Controller 7, Nobody Planning to Leave. And I think this is some of the best underground hip-hop that I heard this year. It's really a throwback to, at least in my, relatively uninformed opinion, it's really a throwback to like 2000s, like early 2000s indie rap with like Cannibal Ox and stuff like that. Number 13 is Honey by Caribou, which is another electronic artist who's making really fun, really dancey house music. Highly recommended. Number 12, I have The Thief Next to Jesus by Ka. Rest in peace. Number 11, I have Pay or Dispute by Dunstcap. Another underground hip-hop record from this year that I really loved, that I think balances like a really self-deprecating sense of humor, and it's like the self-deprecating humor paints a really good picture of Dunstcap as this he's kind of just going through all of his biggest insecurities, his flaws, and I would recommend it to any hip-hop fan. All right, we're in the top 10 now. I'm glad that we got through that pretty quickly. So, number 10, I have Keely Forsyth's album, The Hollow, which Keely Forsyth, if you don't know, she makes kind of, I would say she makes like kind of postmodern singer-songwriter music, where it's really, she's using like unconventional song structures and like unconventional compositions. But I would say that so I reviewed this album when it came out. I wrote a review for it, and I put off listening to it again because I loved it when it came out, but I was scared that it was going to be a thing where like I liked it because I was just, for the sake of the review, I was forced to like sit down and listen to it over and over again. And so I put off listening to it, but then I came back to it when I was figuring out this list, and it still rocks. I still love it. I think that as far as this type of music goes, with it's like a really kind of unsettling type of music. I think that this is probably like some of the most listenable that you'll find, because I mean I'm not really deep in that world, but I love it, so I highly recommend. Number nine, I have Night Rain by Aruj Aftab, who's she's a Pakistani American I guess singer songwriter. I don't know. I think there's some moments on Night Rain where she's almost giving me like Sade vibes, but not quite as groovy. I would say that she's definitely on the more contemplative side, where it's like, if you know Sade, a song like War of the Hearts, she's definitely more on that side rather than like the smooth operator side. But yeah, just really, really evocative, really kind of a smoky record that is, great nighttime listening album. So yeah. Number 8, I have me and MJ are twinning on this one. We have My Method Actor by Newfer Yanya, which is one of my favorite rock albums from the year. I would say that this is maybe like, it's like one of my favorite, it's like some of my favorite production of the year. I think that Newfer Yanya, she makes, I guess you'd call it indie rock. I don't know. It doesn't sound very accurate to like when you actually listen to it, but it's almost like a little bit post-punky, a little bit grungy. And she has really strong riffs and like really strong vocals that are kind of carrying the mood of the album. But then the reason I love the production so much is that like the percussion is so crisp and clean that, these songs, they could have wound up as really kind of like slow burns, like almost like I could see some of these songs, have their tempo halved and it still working. But the way her percussion works on this record, it keeps the momentum so high, and it makes it so, it's like so replayable. I just love it. So yeah. Number 7 is the Lemon Twigs, A Dream Is All We Know. I don't know how they did it, but the Lemon Twigs outdid themselves from their last record, which was only it was barely a year ago. But somehow A Dream Is All We Know is, I guess, their best album. And, if you don't know who the Lemon Twigs are, it's essentially just like they're making kind of Beach Boys type music, but, in 2024. And there are so many songs on this album where if the songwriter was Brian Wilson instead of the Daddario brothers, if that's who it was credited as, it would have been already seen as, classic rock, like a classic rock song, where I do think that the Lemon Twigs, they're kind of operating on that level where they're making they're making stuff that can compete with their influences, which is an insane thing to say, but I really do believe it, and I am just so excited for what they are going to do next. Number 6 is Tidal Memory EXO by Igloo Ghost. And Igloo Ghost, if you don't know, is an electronic producer. He, I would say, is very sporadic with his production. It's very, you never know where it's going to go from one minute to the next. And truth be told, TBT, I never really liked Igloo Ghost that much. He had his, I want to say his debut was called like Neo Wax Bloom. And I was not into that album. I thought it was annoying. I thought it was like a little bit too ADHD for its own good. I really like it conceptually, where it was like this really colorful, really dynamic electronic album. But it was just too much. It was like too overstimulating or whatever. But Tidal Memory EXO, it feels funny to call this new album Reined In, because it's still insane. But the way that he kind of leans into this more dystopian, like futuristic kind of vibe, and that's kind of, I think, represented in like the album art, which is like, by the way, craziest album art of the year. But it feels so much more like focused, and so much more like he lets the grooves like breathe in a way that I never really noticed before. Which, hey, maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I just didn't get it when it came out. But yeah, I was a skeptic when this album came out. I listened to it and I was like, this is good, but I'm still kind of skeptical on him. And then near the end of the year, I started listening to this record more, and it jumped. I wouldn't even considered it in my top 20 before, and now I think it's like absolutely one of the best albums of the year. So yeah, hell yeah. Number 5 is More Mother with The Great Bailout. And for a long time, I think I would have considered this my album of the year. With good reason. So More Mother, she is, I want to say jack of all trades, but she's really a master of all trades. I think she does everything really well. Like sometimes you'll hear her on an Arm & Hammer album where she's just has this totally killer verse. Or, you'll hear her on The Great Bailout, where she's making this modern classical record where the entire thing is centered around. So, like when Britain abolished slavery, they bailed out all the slave owners. They like gave them monetary compensation for all the slaves that they were freeing. And while the slaves got nothing, the slaves didn't get any compensation or anything. And I didn't know about that, but, then I listened to The Great Bailout, and More Mother, she makes Britain sound like hell on earth. Like, it's insane. The production is so harrowing. I would say this is probably the most harrowing album on my list. And it's so, More Mother's imagery, her spoken word passages are so, there's some of them that are just straight up horrifying. Like it's terrible, but really beautiful. And if you do listen to this album, which you should, I'll say that the first song, it's like a 10-minute song, and it is very good. It's a great opener, but it's definitely not representative of the album as a whole. The rest of the album is definitely more, it's more like conventional song lengths. And so I would say that don't, if you listen to the first song and you're like, I don't want to go through this whole record full of 10-minute songs, it's not like that. And I would actually say that after the first song, it gets really like, it's not easy listening, but it flies by. That's what I'll say. So yeah, really, really beautiful record by More Mother. And number 4, we got Confidence Man with 3 a.m. La La La. And Confidence Man is a dance dance group. They make dance music. And I loved their last record, Tilt, when it came out a couple years ago. And I didn't even know this album was coming out until it was already out, 3 a.m. And I, at first I was kind of like, yeah, this is good, but I think I was in denial that they could outdo themselves because Tilt was so good. But I really do think that they they did it. They made their best album yet with 3 a.m. And I can't remember the front woman's name at the moment, but her personality, the front woman for Confidence Man, she is so brazen and so funny and so kind of goofy. She doesn't take herself seriously. And it adds so much to the personality of this project. But I would say that it adds so much, but it doesn't take away from it doesn't distract you from how good the the production is, and how filled out the mixes are. Like, these are some big dance songs, and I think that her like zany energy, it just elevates it. It just makes it so much fun, or so much more fun. It would be fun either way, but she really just takes it to the next level. Yeah, it's just banger after banger. They throw so many fun song writing concepts out, and they're all just, every song just such high energy. It's so much fun. All right, number 3, Porter Robinson, Smile, Smile. Porter Robinson, he pulled through. He pulled through. I was so high off the singles for this album when it was in the lead up to Smile, and I was so hyped that I was like, there's no way the album's gonna live up to it. Like, gonna live up to like Cheerleader or like Knock Yourself Out. And it absolutely did. There were songs like Russian Roulette where I didn't really know if I was going to, I wasn't as into them, but now I'm totally sold on it. And I think that what really sold me on this album was the thematic cohesion that he brings. It's, the whole record is about him thinking about his relationship with his fans. He's thinking about the relationship that he has with the people in his personal life, and he's thinking about his relationship with his past self, and how he is kind of obsessed with going back to the good old days, at least how he remembers them. So but all these songs, they feel like they're heavy song topics, and they kind of are, but the pop tunes, the verses, the choruses, they're so punchy. They're so much fun. The production is so crisp and so snappy, and it's just some of the best pop of the year. So yeah, Porter Robinson, Smile. But if there was one record, okay, and now I'm at my number 2. If there was one record that had more hype behind it than Smile, it is number 2. There was, in my head, I was like, there's no way it's going, I thought it was going to be there was no way it could my hype could match the actual quality of the record. But by golly, she did it. My number 2 is it's Charlie Baby. It's Brat by Charlie XCX. And I think that Brat might have rewired my brain chemistry, because this year, you'll notice there's a lot of like electronic music on this list, and I think that it's her fault. I think that Charlie XCX made me like I don't want to call it dumb. That sounds really patronizing, but just really incredible. Like I like dance music now because of Brat, and because I wasn't listening to this kind of music before Brat came out. But then all of a sudden I was like, well, let's see what, whatever, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, Brat, another record that is just incredible production, some of the best grooves I've heard all year, but carried by Charlie XCX's incredible songwriting. I don't think it's a coincidence that I think about it all the time and 365 are right next to each other. I think that she's saying, she's kind of painting a self-portrait on this album that is not very flattering, and it's just really a very honest record, which sounds very funny to have, a song like Mean Girls or whatever, like they feel in the moment like they're just this like dumb fun thing, and I mean they are dumb fun, but she just Charlie XCX really just came through with her magnum opus on Brat. So easy recommendation. With how much I love this record, it is shocking that it is not my number 1 of the year. There is one more album, my number 1, that I will be talking about with the fellows in a video that we're doing together. So you just have to stick around for that, I guess. But yeah, there's my 20 through number 2, my favorite albums of the year. I really appreciate if you got this far. That's pretty cool. Feel free to like the video, I guess, subscribe, show all your friends how based my music taste is, and I'll see you when I see you, okay? So thank you, bye.